Yesterday was great. Yesterday was awesome. James Woods' debut at home, big crowd, everybody into it, everybody getting it. It was just really cool. Non-championship division. I got a couple nominees. Non-championships. Where does that rank among the coolest moments in DC sports memory? Right? I mean, there have been big games. You beat Dallas, last game of the regular season. That's like a little bit too high for me. And I'm going to cheat with one of my answers eventually. But Darius Ryan, you guys be thinking a couple of years. We'll go to the phones first. I want to jump to Dean in Woodbridge here on line one, who had one that I absolutely thought of, but I'll let you take it, sir. This is a great one.
Hey, thanks, man. Great talking with you.
You too.
I don't know if it was Harper's rookie or second season, but there was some bad blood between him and that Phillies pitcher. He got hit in the batter's box, got around to third, and then the guy stole home on him. That was just hustle. It was electric. I still love it.
That was one of the coolest plays, coolest sequences. Thank you. Mike Rizzo, who usually doesn't do stuff like this, came out afterwards and said what was true. That was gutless. It was Cole Hamels. Threw at Bryce Harper because he was a rookie. What? What sin did he commit? Did he pimp a home run too hard? Did he yell at you? Did he show you up? No. He had the audacity to step into the batter's box in a major league game. So Hamels hit him, and Harper ended up stealing home. That was badass. Kristen at Silver Spring. Cool moment.
Hey, Danny, how are you?
I'm very good. How are you?
So I'm going to actually take you to task on this topic because I disagree with you that championship things shouldn't be in the discussion. And the reason being is in 2019, that wild card win set the table for us to go to the World Series. And last night, we didn't win any World Series, and we're not going to this year. But you set the table for the Nationals rebuild and what can be with the Nationals going forward. And you had to have last night and the energy and the vibes that occurred last night to start to bring this fan base back. And so I would argue that it does worthy conversation with those championship-like days because this is the start and this is the landmark by which we're going to grade the success of the Nationals going forward.
No, I smell what you're cooking, and I appreciate that. To me, it's not to diminish what you're saying. I think it's a semantic difference. In other words, you would say Steven Strasburg's debut in 2010 set the stage for it. It took a little while, but of what was to come right after his Tommy John, the year off, 2012, that season, and it kind of began the makings of that long run of sustained success. That's absolutely what last night was to me. It was this new version, this 2.0, this rebirth after climbing to the top, falling down to the very bottom, rebuilding, starting again. Great moment. So I see your point there for sure. I'm just kind of saying the easiest thing to say over the last couple of decades is probably the Caps won the Stanley Cup and the Nationals won the World Series. I'm eliminating those and giving some shine to maybe some other moments and trying to quantify it for Wood, but I totally get your point. So let me throw a couple at you. Stay on the diamond here for a second. See if you smell what I'm cooking on this one. October 1st, 2012. They lose the game to the Philadelphia Phillies 2-0. So what am I talking about? If you remember, that day, the Nationals' magic number was 1. Either they win or the Braves lose, and the Braves lost. So their magic number was 0. Thousands of fans were still at Nats Park after the Nats got blanked 2-0. And the Nationals and everybody else are watching that game on the Jumbotron. And the Braves lose as they kind of fell apart then that season. And the Nationals, for the first time in their existence, clinched the National League East. So all of a sudden, this sort of organic, real, genuine, what do we do? What do you do? What should I do? What am I doing? We're still here. We're kind of hanging out. This is fun. Everybody ends up celebrating. They're partying out there on the field with the fans that were still in attendance. The game had been over for a while. It was a breeze by standards of the days then. It was 2 hours and 48 minutes. Now an eternity, where this is pre-pitch clock. So the game's long over, and everybody's kind of hanging out. That was awesome. That was an absolute blast, an organic, really cool moment where this team that is still starting to ingratiate itself back into this marketplace, trying to win over so many fans that either went without baseball, went to Baltimore for their baseball, or otherwise. Nobody had gone through that yet. You'd had a nice pre-All-Star break run when they first came back in 2005. But, come on, that was it. They'd never even sniffed this level of success. They'd won 96 games to that point, would finish with 98. Still the most wins they've ever had. That was really, really cool. Caller had this, but he hung up. Let me take you back to 2005. What have we heard about young Alexander Ovechkin? A goal-scoring extraordinaire. Okay, we've heard that before. We've heard about offensive skills before. We've heard. How about 2 goals in his home debut against the Columbus Blue Jackets? How about skating onto that ice like a bull in a china shop, hitting every single thing, including the glass? Checking everybody with a pulse. Didn't matter. You're vending beers, you're going to get a check. You're handing out bubble gum? Check. Novelty stick night? Check. And he scored twice? Oh, come on. That was awesome. That was badass. That was the beginning of the thing for the guy that's going to set the all-time goal-scoring record. That was cool. Let's go to Greg and Chantilly with a good one. Greg, what do you got?
I got an old one because everybody always remembers recent things, and it's the greatest event that ever happened. But because of age, they've missed things from the past. And this is the Minnesota Vikings versus the Washington Redskins, November 2nd, 1986. An overtime victory, a 44-38 at RFK when it was rocking.
So was that the game? Is that Art Monk's touchdown catch?
No, that actually isn't. That was I forgot who scored the
it was Gary Clark
on the reception. There was an interception before by Todd Bowles. There was a penalty on the play, but it was called on the Vikings. And with the interception, they went on to score. They could have won in regular time, but they had a field goal blocked in the red zone on a Didier bomb that they couldn't decide whether he caught it or not. That was a critical play. Anyway, it was an overtime victory that led them on to go and continue on to that season, of which we all know what happened.
Appreciate you, dude. Thank you. So I think that year, if I've got these years correct, that's the year they lost to the Giants in the NFC title game. That team. I think I've got that one right. But so the Monk touchdown I remember, I mean, I was just a little kid, but these things are, blazing on my brain. I think that made it a one-score game when it was Gary Clark in overtime that won it. Right? Yeah, that was they got blasted 17-0 by the Giants in the in the conference championship game. And that, by the way, just to give you guys, because you're both young people talking to Darius and Ryan here, who I can see. The difference between now and then was, I mean, it sucks. You're losing to the Giants. That's Parcells, who's just a jerk, and Taylor and Phil Simms and how annoying these guys are. And I still hate Phil McConaughey to this day. And Mark Bavaro can, well, whatever. Point is, losing that game sucked. But you'd go, we'll be back next year. That was it. That's a 12-win team. You go, we'll be back next year. And you know what happened? They were back the next year. And you know what else happened? They beat Denver's ass 42-10 in the Super Bowl. Now, the Super Bowl, Ryan, is at the end of the season. When you've won all your games, there's only one other team that's won all their games, and you play in that game for the championship. You may be unfamiliar because you've never seen anything like that in your entire life. But my Washington Redskins used to do that on the regular. And if they didn't do it, it was either the Niners. It took the greatest Bears team ever to do it, and a couple great Giants teams. That's who won, and that was it. The rest of the league was cannon fodder for us. We'd walk around the biggest, baddest bullies on the block. Hey, man, here's what play's coming. I dare you to stop it. You lesser than person. I'm going to run right down your throat, bro. I'll see you 5 yards down the line. God, it was great. Not so much now. Anyway, fun.